Everyone, what's going on? New video. This video is marriage counselors. What is the most common mistakes couples make? Posted by Zora. Expecting one person to be everything for them. You need friends, coworkers, a support system, and hobbies. Keeping secrets or lies. Failure to communicate effectively. This can be taught. I went to 5 sessions with my wife during a tough period. The best things we learned from that is 1. Never lash the other with past misbehaviors when trying to resolve a current issue. We have been married 17 years, so there is limitless crap we can pull out of our history together to highlight past wrongs, and that just derails what could have been a quick resolution. 2. When one half says, "I'm not happy about X," do not respond with, "Okay, but I'm unhappy with Y." Fix X, get settled, then bring up Y if you still need to. 1. Keeping score. A partnership is a team, not a competition. Whether a person keeps score of everything they have done or everything their partner has done, it is a death knell for the relationship. This is one of the most common causes of resentment in a relationship. And you see it often when people use absolute terms to describe themselves or their partners, i.e., I always, she never, remembering that each person has his or her own needs, abilities, skills, and boundaries is essential to a healthy couple. 2. Expecting that because your significant other knows you better than others and is around you the most, that they are aware of all your thoughts and feelings. Your partner is not psychic, and no matter how often they are around you or how well they know you, they cannot pick up on every nuance to determine how you are feeling and how they should respond. That is called emotional babysitting, and it cascades into a host of problems and unnecessary hurt. Not listening. Most people listen to respond and don't listen to hear. This is what I spend the most of my time teaching couples how to do. I've provided couples counseling at different points in my career. Some of the most common mistakes I will often see are 1. Expecting partners to be able to read their minds and anticipate needs and wants. 2. Goes with the first one, lack of communication, comfort with discussing difficult topics, or one partner being uncomfortable with discussion of a topic, which leaves both partners feeling frustrated and dissatisfied. 3. Blaming their partner for all issues in the relationship and not taking ownership of their own role in dysfunction/issues. 4. Not expressing gratitude towards your partner on a regular basis. Experiences and expressions of gratitude can have a really positive effect on psychological well-being as well as relational strength. 5. Not giving intimacy in the relationship enough attention. This includes, but is not limited to, sex. Many relationships start with the hot and heavy phase, where intimacy can come naturally. As this phase diminishes, many couples do not spend the time and energy to consider how to maintain a healthy level of intimacy now that it doesn't just come naturally. Not a marriage counselor, but this is what my husband and I do. I go to bed much earlier than him because I'm a teacher, so I have to wake up very early. Every night when I go to bed, he takes a break from what he's doing and comes and lays down with me for about 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes I fall asleep with him there. Sometimes we just lay and talk about our day without the distractions of our phones, work, etc. And sometimes, of course, it turns into sex. Either way, we do this every night without fail, even if we're upset with each other. It puts things into perspective. It's hard to stay mad at someone about something like not doing the dishes after dinner when we're laying in the dark in each other's arms. Currently a student in clinical psychology doctorate program, focusing in marriage and family. If you aren't already familiar with it, I would recommend taking a look at John Gottman's work on romantic relationships. He's one of the best-known researchers on this topic. Perhaps his most famous work is The Four Horsemen. In a 30-minute interview, Gottman was able to accurately predict which couples would divorce based on their interactions with each other, particularly when those interactions included criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling. Research from the Gottman Institute has expanded on this to provide a pretty comprehensive list of factors that lead to couple conflict and divorce. Gottman also addresses solutions to these issues, which primarily exist within the form of couples therapy. Take this all with a grain of salt. This is one perspective on relationships, but it tends to be a pretty robust and well-researched one, and it happens to be the one I'm most familiar with. My personal understanding on this issue is that problems arise from lack of humility and the challenge of getting out of deeply ingrained patterns/cycles of conflict, which generally require both partners to accept fault and extend grace. Divorce lawyer here. Talk about money. Talk about sex. If you are marrying someone with a shitty credit score, you should know how and why they ended up with it, lest you find yourself in their shoes very quickly. A credit score can cost thousands and take years to rebuild. Know if they have any tax liens or liability. Are they paying child support, and do they have any kind of garnishment? Who is going to be responsible for managing finances? How many credit cards does the other person have, and what are their balances? I've seen money kill a lot of marriages. Another one a lot of people don't think of is actually talking about sex, not just having it. Do you enjoy the sex you have? Would you like to have more of it? Less? Would you like to see it change? Do you or the other person have any weird kinks? Just have the talk. Different sexual wavelengths can be difficult to reconcile. Therapists here have served couples. Number one problem I see is overactive threat response creating anger and rigidity. People don't stop to turn down their defense mode and lose sight of love because all their energy is going towards being right or controlling the outcome. Of course, that control comes from a place of fear, but fear and vulnerability feels too dangerous, so it typically gets expressed as anger, frustration, or rigidity. Surrender to not having control. Accept what's in front of you and cultivate compassion. Please. Because y'all rigid couples who just can't prioritize empathizing with each other over our 4-year response are driving me nuts. Wife has degree in marriage and family counseling. One of the bigger factors in a successful marriage are couples responding to repair attempts during arguments or conflict. Rescue attempts are often little jokes or olive branches to help overcome issues or arguments. Edit. People keep asking for an example. My wife didn't buy movie tickets in advance for date night this last Sunday, and it was sold out. It sucked. She laughed and sheepishly said, "Well, at least we get to spend more time together staring longingly into each other's eyes." That was her rescue attempt. It works two ways, though. I also have to respond positively to it, which I did. We did a lot of staring longingly into each other's eyes last Sunday. As soon as couples stop being on the same team, fighting all the bullshit of life together, things fall apart. Get on the same team. Get behind each other's goals. If you're not on the same team, you're just going to wind up annoying the fuck out of each other. All that bullshit of life is going to be beating you down, and your life partner is just going to be part of it instead of a refuge. One of the most toxic things I have found in doing marriage counseling is when couples think of themselves as individuals who happen to be together and not as a couple. Not that I'm advocating enmeshment. That's not really marriage. That's having a roommate, or perhaps less than that even. Marriage is a union of two people. That's why the unity candle and sand and knots are all about. There is a bringing together of two lives that is inseparable. If either member still conceptualizes themselves as a solely autonomous individual whose actions and dispositions impact only themselves, things will go bad eventually. They go bad because it results in a person caring more for themselves than their spouse. This is seen where couples spend money behind each other's backs because it's my money, why does it matter? When couples keep secrets from each other, which inevitably results in pain, this is seen when couples don't stop to consider their spouse's thoughts, feelings, desires, dreams, abilities, and strength alongside their weaknesses. The remedy to this is behaving as a unit in small ways and in large. If you are getting something from the fridge, see if your spouse wants something. It even helps in arguments. No longer is it spouse against spouse, but it's married couple against the issue, causing stress to the unit. When one person considers a course of action, their thoughts ought to be about how it impacts the unit. I think that's going to be the last one. If you guys enjoyed it, please, like I always say, please comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stick around for the next video.